Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Tracking some showers this morning and a few isolated thunderstorms. I'll let you know if it will affect your morning commute.
Folks all along the East Coast are getting ready for the storm, and our team has you covered right here. The effects in Florida already this morning and what people in our state are doing to prepare.
And starting today, there will be a change to your morning commute on the Beltline. Just ahead, updates to 440 that could help ease traffic congestion.
And this morning is your final chance to watch Simone Biles and other members of the women's gymnastics team compete in Paris. That and the other big events that you'll want to watch for today. A lot to tell you about Olympic-wise, and it is going to be a big week weather-wise as we track Debbie with North Carolina right in his path. Good morning, everyone. It is 6 o'clock. We're here to get you started on this Monday. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Jeff Hogan. Yeah, it's going to be a busy week ahead. It was kind of like a gold rush over the weekend with the Olympics going on, but it's going to be a rain rush all week long. We'll be focused on it for you. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRS Severe Weather Center right now. That rain we're seeing right now, not affiliated with Debbie.
Correct. This is just a little disturbance. Remember, we had a few scattered storms late yesterday, kind of seeing that lingering boundary here continuing this morning. Let's zoom in here in the southern part of Wake County, Holly Springs, Fuquay Varina up toward Garner, seeing a few patchy showers. It doesn't look like much, but if you're driving through it this morning, it may be briefly heavy. We're seeing that stretching down towards Sanford and over here near Jordan Lake. We'll also head to the east. A lot of lightning between, say, I-95 and down south just west of Goldsboro, so be on the lookout for that as well. None of that's likely to last very long this morning, but we may see a repeat of it this afternoon. Just a few isolated cells, 20 to 30% chance that we see something popping up this afternoon. We don't start to see the rain bands from Debbie until late tomorrow in our area. So again, this afternoon, about a 20 to 30% chance. Here's a look at to where Hurricane Debbie is now, moving slowly at about 10 miles per hour, getting ready to officially make landfall in the Big Bend of Florida. It's 60 miles northwest of Cedar Key, Florida right now with winds at 80 miles per hour. The storm will continue to move inland as a tropical storm, producing catastrophic flooding across parts of Georgia and South Carolina. And of course, we'll begin to see those rain bands late tomorrow. How much rainfall for us from the Triangle area northward? Around 4 to 8, around 6 to 10 inches as you get a little closer to our southern counties. And then down toward the coast, Wilmington, as much as 10 to 16 inches. So some isolated storms here, unrelated this afternoon to Debbie. Coastal rain bands begin to affect Wilmington later today. We'll see some of those rain bands here late tomorrow, and that rain gets heavier at the coast. For us, Wednesday through Friday, it looked like they'll be the wettest times. That's when we'll have the best chance for flooding here, as much as 20 to 40 mile per hour gusts with that system as well. A little bit of sun trying to peek out here in downtown Raleigh, 78 degrees with a dew point of 75, and our highs this afternoon will be in the upper 80s. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, at 6:02, we continue to follow a crash that happened like an hour and a half ago. We're talking it's on I-540 westbound. This crash has since cleared, but you can still see the lingering delay starting at Six Forks Road all the way back to Honeycutt Road. If this is part of your alternate route in terms of east-west, I would recommend just staying on maybe Creedmoor Road, staying on Six Forks Road, working your way to the Beltline. That'll help you avoid this slowdown that we're seeing, this lingering slowdown from that crash that we're seeing there on I-540 westbound. We're also monitoring a disabled vehicle on Glenwood Avenue, the westbound lane near the Pleasant Valley Shopping Center, not causing any problems for you this morning, so nothing for you to worry about in that instance. Elsewhere around the Triangle, all the major roads are delay-free at this hour.
Florida is seeing some strong wind and rain right now. This is a live look in Clearwater, Florida, where you can see stormy conditions already there. And those strong winds, heavy rain have people all along the East Coast preparing from Florida all the way to here in North Carolina. Our team coverage continues now. Chris Levengood tracking that storm in the WRAL Live Center right now. Chris.
Yeah, you know, Jeff, we're looking at some of the effects of Debbie right now in Florida. I want to show you Hillsborough County, Florida. That's where Tampa is. And you'll see this tree down across this road is another angle that shows you as well. Just to kind of illustrate the wind speeds that we're talking about here, the saturation of the ground because of rain that's happening there. So we're watching that very closely. We're also reminding viewers, just in case you didn't watch our newscast at 5:30 that you can follow along with what Elizabeth Gardner and our other meteorologists are looking at. If you go to WRAL.com on the weather tab, click the eye control radar, and you can look and watch the radar in real time as it's happening, and it'll have a little timeline for you as well, even looking slightly into the future. One last thing I want to show you right now is RDU right now. That's where we're going to be telling you about some delays that we're seeing, not just there, but also at some other airports across the area and across the nation, really, because of what is happening in Florida regarding Debbie. We'll get to that in a bit, but first, I do want to go to WRAL's Laura Levine. Laura, yesterday we were even having conversations via email about what to talk about today, and you had brought up about something that's happening today in Raleigh in terms of preparations.
Good morning, Chris. Yes, and it is really a crucial step when it comes to preparing for storms like this. We know crews over the weekend began preparing for Debbie early on. And here's why, because heavy rainfall is a major concern. So they began lowering some of the lakes like Lake Johnson here behind me. I know it's very dark right now. We're talking about 6 a.m., but I want you to take a look at some of this video. This comes from Ethan Clark with the city's stormwater team. He says this team has been working really closely with emergency management and made the call to proactively lower city lakes. This allows them to store more water and helps reduce flooding concerns along Walnut Creek. Over on the Carolina coast, we're already seeing the impacts of Tropical Storm Debbie, a rough water picking up at Wrightsville Beach, where Ocean Rescue is flying red flags.
We need access to the beach. We don't want people, going out even knee high. You do go out, you do become in trouble. That's now putting our lifeguards in unnecessary risk to go out and rescue you when, it's been very clear you should not be getting in the ocean.
Yes, so that swell really having an impact on rip currents, making it for very dangerous conditions. And we will likely see conditions get worse in the coming days as North Carolina is right in Debbie's path. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Debbie is about to bring us rain, a lot of rain that we don't need. And storms in Raleigh over the weekend created a lot of problems for drivers yesterday. Take a look. Streets looked more like lakes and rivers with water pooling up and then clearing out just as quickly. This was the diverging Diamond interchange at Western Boulevard and I-440. Cars swerved and slowed to avoid sliding on the water that seeped onto the road. Meanwhile, this was the side of Saunders Street. A car stalled out in the water. Crews came out in the rain, working to drain it to get the car moving again. On Cutler Street, rushing water flowed like a river along this neighborhood road. The water pushed past cars parked on the pavement. And on Hillsborough Street, also in Raleigh, slick spots and ponding raised the risk for hydroplaning. There was a vehicle stalled in standing water earlier. The rain saturated the ground, bringing the potential for even more flooding and damage.
Clearing in just the last 30 minutes, a crash involving a Wake County Sheriff's Office vehicle. This is video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker on I-540 near Creedmoor Road. We still don't know much about this crash, but WRAL's Nick Perling was on that scene and said the deputy's car was badly damaged and someone there was in handcuffs. We'll keep you updated when we hear back on the details of this crash. Also, one person is in the hospital after hitting a Raleigh police vehicle with their car. The officer was out checking out a minor crash on the side of I-440 near Capitol Boulevard when another car came along and hit that officer's vehicle. That person was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. They are expected to face charges for causing that crash and failure to move over.
A busy part of I-440 in Raleigh just got an upgrade. Today is the first morning commute that drivers will use a new on-ramp onto Wade Avenue toward the airport. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live near the interchange. And Kelsey, this is expected to ease congestion in that area.
Yes, Renee, exactly. Starting today, your morning commute may look a little different on the Beltline. So right now, we're seeing a little bit more traffic than what we did in the last half hour as more people are starting to head off to work. But your next drive through the 440 Wade Avenue interchange should come with less of a hassle. There's a new flyover bridge. This will connect drivers on 440 East to the westbound lanes of Wade Avenue heading towards the airport. There are two changes you should know about ahead of your morning drive today. One, the temporary off-ramp to Wade Avenue West is now closed. And 2, there's now a traffic light where the new lanes will merge onto Wade Avenue. The new flyover connector is a part of the ongoing 440 project. That project began back in 2019. It's costing the state more than $346 million.
We are going to move into next year with a few things, so certainly that's going to be something we watch out for. But I believe light is at the end of the tunnel, and people are going to be so pleased.
So you heard me mention that traffic light that people should be watching out for. You can see people stopping there now, and there's even a reminder there for drivers, the sign that says stop here on red. Now the 440 widening project is set to be complete at some point next year. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Here it is, one last chance to catch gymnastics. Women's gymnastics today with Simone Biles returning to action this morning to compete in the balance beam and floor finals. Here are some other big events happening today. Our coverage begins 9 a.m. with track and field. Men's beach volleyball quarterfinals get started at 11 a.m. Team USA faces Italy in that one. Then at noon, it's women's beach volleyball getting started. USA versus Canada there. Then at 4 p.m., the gold medal game for the women's 3-on-3 basketball. You can catch Duke's Sierra Burdick in that game. And to help you keep track of today's Olympic action, we have a viewing guide for you on WRAL.com. You can follow your favorite sports and athletes and find the complete schedule day by day, what's on each channel, what's streaming. Go to WRAL.com, search Olympics schedule.
Team USA is racking up medals at the Paris Olympics. After the break, we'll be joined live by NBC's Jay Gray, who is in Paris for the latest on the 2024 Summer Games.
Also, new technology helping researchers around the country learn from hurricanes. How the remote-controlled drones are changing the way scientists track major storms. Elizabeth.
And this morning, we're seeing a few isolated storms, especially there in the southern part of Wake County. I'll show you who may be affected this morning during your commute.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:14, we have a few isolated showers and thunderstorms out there this morning. Not related to Debbie, but still going to have some impacts in some spots. You can see from Fuquay Arena back over toward Holly Springs, just south of Apex. We have a cluster, and some of that, if you're driving through it, is going to be heavy at times. Not a lot of lightning with this. We've had some lightning over closer to Goldsboro. Those cells are looking like they're beginning to dissipate a little bit. It's just a 20% chance this morning, 20 to 30% chance later on this afternoon. Here's a live look at Apex, and a lot of cloud cover. You're likely to see a few showers. Those are going to continue to lift northward. If you're headed out for some exercise this morning, it's pretty muggy out there, but quiet later this afternoon. Just a few isolated storms. By late tomorrow, we may start to see some of the rain bands from Debbie. I'll show you that on Futurecast coming up.
And happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center, we continue to monitor this slowdown we've been seeing on I-540 in the westbound lanes near Creedmoor Road. The crash that happened there about an hour and a half ago has since cleared, but we're still seeing that slowdown between Six Forks Road and Honeycutt. And if this is an alternate route for you, east-west wise, I would recommend just staying local and working your way to the Beltline. That'll get you around the situation that we're seeing on I-540 westbound. But all the other major roadways are delay-free at this hour.
Last night wrapped up swimming events at the Summer Games in Paris. Team USA is in the medal count lead so far and hopes to maintain that advantage today in gymnastics and track and field. NBC's Jay Gray joins us live this morning from Paris. Jay, good morning. It was a gold medal rush this weekend for the American athletes, and they are making history.
Yeah, Renee, really amazing to see. We're talking history, world records, big wins. Team USA continuing what's just been an amazing run here in Paris, and a run that for one of the American superstars is, well, picture perfect.
There's an Olympic gold medal waiting for somebody.
It's the premier race of the Summer Games, and the men's 100 does not disappoint. Noah Lyles behind at the midpoint, but surging with a crowd of runners at the tape. The fastest men in the world then forced to wait for results.
It's Noah Lyles, and it had to go to a photo finish.
I'm going to be honest. I was shocked. I thought I got outleaned, truly. And then my name came up, and I was like, oh, shoot, I'm incredible.
Bobby Fink running away in the end.
In the final night at the pool, Bobby Fink grabbing gold and setting a new world record in the 1500 free. The Americans also taking the top spot and another world record in the women's 4x100 medley relay. The men's squad in that race finishing with silver.
The landmark U.S. gold medal in the women's road race.
Kristen Faulkner took up cycling as a hobby in 2017, was a late add to the Olympic team when a teammate dropped out, and today she's an Olympic champion. Scotty Scheffler wiping away tears, the best golfer in the world, finishing with a course record 62, adding Olympic gold to his trophy case. Yeah, you know, we've been trying to show you some of the gear of Team USA, and today it's USA Skateboarding. Take a look. This is, it kind of looks like a bowling shirt, but this is what skateboarders have as part of their ensemble here in Paris. Look at the logo on the back. It's the eagle with the saxophone. That's a bit different, unique, and it's because, according to some of the skateboarders, there's a real bond between music and their sport. They also say jazz, just like skateboarding, is really built on improvisation, and so that's what the eagle with the skateboard represents. Here with the saxophone, here's the tank top. Renee, you're welcome. I didn't decide to wear this morning. And take a look. Here's one of the boards, Team USA boards. It's marked up with the markings of Team USA 2024. But you'll notice Team USA Skateboarding, very smart. They did not give me a board with wheels. The wheels were taken off of this. Renee?
For safety reasons. But look, you're modeling the shirt with the logo, very cool logo with the saxophone, and we look forward to your reports tomorrow. Jay Gray reporting live from Paris. Can't wait for all the Olympic action. Thanks, Jay.
When Jay starts to break dance later this week, that's what I'm holding out for. It's going to be good stuff. We have a lot to look forward this week. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center as we track Debbie. Not here yet, but we still have some action on the radar.
We do. So by this time tomorrow, we'll be starting to track some of those rain bands, but this is unrelated still. Some potential impacts here in southern Wake County. These cells started down to the south, around Fayetteville, up toward Goldsboro, and even back around Southern Pines. It's fizzled there, but started to lift northward. Over here around Jordan Lake, we're seeing some heavier rain. That's lifting up toward Holly Springs right now. That's going to likely stick together and head up toward Raleigh proper. It's not a big area, but if you're driving through this region, if you're coming down, say, US 1, you may start to run into that as it lifts northward. That rain's going to be pouring briefly. It's not going to last too long, but it is going to be really coming down. We get a little bit of a break closer to lunchtime, and then during the afternoon, a few more scattered cells pop up. I drove through one yesterday evening. It didn't last long, but it was absolutely dumping. And so that's what we're looking at again this afternoon. Let's turn our attention to Debbie. It is about to make landfall in Florida sometime in the next hour to 2 hours. It's just sitting right there on the coastline. Impacts along the coast of North Carolina start today. Inland impacts will begin tomorrow and could last through Saturday. Our greatest threat is going to be flooding. 4 to 8 inches for most of our area. In our southern counties, it could be a little bit higher. Boy, it looks like it's getting really, really close. I would say probably within the hour. The Hurricane Center will call that it's made landfall there along the Big Bend of Florida. It has winds at 80 miles per hour right now. The forecast path hasn't really changed. It moves across parts of Georgia, just off the coast of South Carolina, and then turns northward into North Carolina. Parts of South Carolina and Georgia are likely to see catastrophic flooding out of this system. Let's take a look at the rain bands as those start to move northward. We'll pause it there during the afternoon on Tuesday. You can see some of those rain bands starting to lift northward, definitely affecting the coast and our southern counties first, but those will start to lift northward. And that rain continues for us this as we get into Wednesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday may be the days that we see the heaviest rain as the center of circulation continues to lift northward and again dump multiple inches of rain. It's a slow mover because the upper level winds that should be pushing this system along are well to the north, so there's not much there to steer it. And we're following the Hurricane Center's path, which follows the European model, but the American model doesn't even push it very far northward. It just kind of has it sitting and spinning. And of course, a very slow moving storm dumped a lot of heavy rain. In the yellow and pink areas, looking at 15 to 20 plus inches of rain. That includes the Wilmington area. For us, from the Triangle area northward, 4 to 8 inches, from Fayetteville, 6 to 10, and then over a foot of rain possible in Wilmington. You can see the purple area is where we'll have an extreme risk for flooding. Our risk in our viewing area will be medium to high, and that really starts to kick in tomorrow and lasts all the way through Friday. What can you do to prepare? Clear your gutters and drains, mow the yard, anything that you can do to kind of prep for some flooding. It is cloudy right now across our area. Our temperature is 78. It's a warm, sticky start this morning. We'll see a high of 89 with that good chance of rain in the middle of the week. We're looking at our temperatures being in the 80s. But Ken, this is going to be a significant system for us. People really need to be ready, especially Wednesday through Friday, for some flooding.
And we'll be on top of it. Also, we're on top of what your morning commute will look like this morning. We're monitoring some lingering delays on I-540 westbound. We just heard from our friends at the state DOT. This is actually related to some nighttime maintenance work that should be cleared up in about 45 minutes. If this is part of your east-west route, I would recommend just staying local and working your way to the Beltline because really the Beltline and all the other major routes in the Triangle are just delay-free at this hour.
Ken, thanks. Adele paused her concert to watch the Olympics, the event she just had to see on the Jumbotron of her show.
And we'll give you this live look. I-10 in North Florida. You can already see the impacts of Debbie with the rain there. And coming up, how people here in Raleigh are preparing for Debbie to make its way here.
And Katie Ledecky continues to make Olympic history, becoming the first swimmer to win 4 consecutive gold medals in the same event. Coming up at 7, Ledecky is live with the Today team now that her races in Paris are complete.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
Adele paused her concert over the weekend to watch the Olympics.
Everybody had to see. Ken Smith here now with What's Trending, Ken.
Yeah, including Adele, right? And on Saturday, Adele was performing at her concert in Munich when she stopped the show to put on the Olympics. The singer put the women's 100-meter sprint on the screens for the attendees of her show to see. The gold went to Julia Alfred, the first athlete from St. Lucia to ever win an Olympic medal.
Yeah, and it was a historic race with the first ever medal for that Caribbean nation. And Team USA's Sha'Carri Richardson came in second in that race.
Yeah, she was in Germany for the concert, right? There were no Germans in the race, but it's the 100. It only takes 10 seconds, and then you're done. Move on.
And then sing another song. A new ramp is open on one of Raleigh's busiest interchanges. Coming up, the traffic pattern to help ease long-standing traffic issues on I-440. Coming up.
And the city of Raleigh is already preparing for the impacts of Debbie making its way here to the Triangle. We'll show you the work that's underway here and on the North Carolina coast.